Have you ever noticed how the most meticulously curated, like perfectly flawless Hollywood couples
Yeah.
always seem to attract the absolute wildest conspiracy theories?
Oh, absolutely. It's practically a law of physics in the entertainment industry at
Yeah.
this point.
It just feels like the more polished a celebrity's public image is, the more desperately the internet wants to find the cracks in the foundation.
Yeah, nature abhors a vacuum. And the modern internet completely rejects the concept of a perfectly happy, uncomplicated celebrity marriage.
They just won't buy it.
Exactly.
Right.
When there are no visible flaws, the public imagination just, well, they invent them. They engineer the most spectacular and devastating narratives possible just to balance the scales.
And that dynamic, honestly, is the entire mission of today's deep dive. We were looking at a massive tangled web of recent internet rumors, blind items, and circulating gossip surrounding what might be Hollywood's most guarded power couple.
George and Amal Clooney.
Yep, George and Amal. And we are taking a stack of recent reports and dissecting these claims, not just to recount the gossip, because, I mean, that's everywhere.
Right, we want to go deeper.
Exactly. We want to understand what actually happens when a fiercely protected private life collides head-on with the algorithmic rumor mill.
And just to set the baseline for you right up front, we are dealing exclusively with unverified rumors and blind items today.
100%. It's all alleged.
But analyzing this ecosystem isn't just about the gossip itself. Decoding these rumors reveals some really fascinating underlying mechanics about how the celebrity machine operates.
And how aggressive image control can dramatically backfire.
Yes. And how the public projects their own deep-seated narratives onto highly secretive stars.
Because the sheer scope of the rumors swirling around them right now is, honestly, it's staggering.
It really is.
We aren't talking about standard tabloid fodder here, like, who forgot to take out the trash or minor disagreement.
No, not at all.
The current chatter involves A-list actresses, bizarre love triangles, and some incredibly dark, high-stakes allegations tied to billionaires.
Which is wild.
It is. And the spark that ignited this current internet frenzy is, well, it's a perfect case study in how a single data point can be weaponized. Let's look at those recent paparazzi shots of Emma Watson.
Yeah, the Watson sighting is such a great example. It illustrates the exact life cycle of a modern rumor. So recently, paparazzi photographed Emma Watson arriving at the Clooney's private estate in Lake Como, Italy.
And she was alone, right?
Crucially alone. The photos captured her arriving entirely by herself.
Okay, and because Emma Watson and George Clooney have, virtually no established public friendship on record, the internet looked at that photographic silence and just filled it with a cacophony of wild theories.
Oh, the comment sections immediately started running algorithmic Mad Libs.
Seriously. Is she a romantic side chick? Are they secretly prepping some massive film project?
Or my favorite, is she there to serve as a high-profile babysitter for the almost 8-year-old twins?
Right. As if Emma Watson is just picking up babysitting gigs on the weekends.
It's so absurd. And some commentators even spun it into this weird critique of Amal.
Oh, yeah, the fashion thing.
Yeah, they found it ironic that a globally respected human rights lawyer would be associated with a Hollywood guest while rumors are simultaneously swirling about Amal wearing Balenciaga.
Just dragging past fashion house controversies into a completely unrelated house visit.
Exactly. The leap from a simple, unedited photograph to a multi-layered global conspiracy requires an incredible amount of projection.
I mean, if we just look at the raw facts established in the reports, Emma Watson hasn't even had a major film release since, Little Women in 2019?
Yep, 2019. And the original photos show her leaving the Lake Como villa just as she arrived, alone.
So there is absolutely zero evidence of a secret romance.
Zero.
And zero evidence of a clandestine movie deal.
Yeah.
It is, by all verifiable accounts, literally just a person visiting a house.
That's it.
My theory on why this exploded is that the internet essentially functions like a speculative fiction engine.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. You feed it one anomalous, out-of-context image. It's like, imagine seeing the captain of your high school chess team getting coffee with the lead of the school play.
Your brain just tries to connect the dots?
Exactly. And the algorithm immediately rewards whoever can invent the most scandalous, high-engagement context for that meeting.
But the Emma Watson sighting didn't happen in a vacuum, It gained traction because it perfectly fit a narrative that people were already primed to believe.
Right, this pre-existing narrative.
Yeah, what industry insiders call a limelight divide. Watson was just the catalyst that ignited a powder keg that has been building for months in the blind items.
Because, according to recent gossip and circulating reports, Amal has made comments suggesting her life was significantly less one-dimensional before she married into Hollywood royalty.
She reportedly really craves her old, understated life, roaming freely in New York and London rather than being confined to these paparazzi-proof fortresses.
And you can entirely understand the psychological whiplash there. I mean, she is a highly accomplished international law professional.
Very highly accomplished.
She used to have a clear boundary between her work life and her personal life.
Yeah.
Now those worlds are just entirely blurred.
The reports highlight her frustration that, if she is standing in front of an international tribunal on a Monday, she has to worry that her weekend paparazzi photos are going to completely overshadow her legal arguments.
Which has to be infuriating. It is a fundamental clash, core values, and lifestyle demands.
Definitely. You have one partner desperately trying to reclaim their professional autonomy and privacy, while the other partner is intrinsically tied to an industry that just demands constant, aggressive public visibility.
And George isn't slowing down. Instead of retreating to prioritize a quiet family life, he recently chose to chase the limelight again, right?
Yeah, taking on a project to produce a Broadway production of Good Night and Good Luck.
So that kind of friction over lifestyle, it isn't just an emotional hurdle. When you're dealing with a couple at this echelon of fame and wealth, that friction creates a massive structural vulnerability.
Oh, the emotional distance translates directly into staggering financial and logistical rumors.
The stakes of a potential split are astronomical. We're talking about a $600 million risk.
Yeah. Despite Amal being a top-tier, brilliant legal mind, and George being an A-list actor who has navigated the industry for decades, reports suggest that when they married in 2014, they did so without a prenuptial agreement.
Which is mind-blowing.
Truly.
Operating a high-net-worth marriage without a prenup is like, I don't know, executing a massive multinational corporate merger without any insurance or liability clauses.
Yeah.
It completely defies logic.
Especially considering his assets.
Right. We're talking about George's estimated individual net worth of nearly $550 million.
Wow.
That includes the sprawling Italian villa, a massive vintage car collection, and, the proceeds from a liquor company that was valued at roughly $700 million.
It's just an unfathomable amount of money. And all of those assets are potentially exposed if the friction over their lifestyle divide leads to a fracture.
And the blind items certainly suggest that the fracture has, already occurred.
There are very persistent rumors circulating that they are essentially living separate lives right now.
Claims have surfaced that Amal is living overseas in a residence facilitated by a Middle Eastern royal.
And allegedly spending her time with someone her own age.
Right, while George reportedly goes months without even seeing her. The physical and emotional distance is being painted as this vast chasm in the gossip blogs.
But whenever rumors of that magnitude hit a fever pitch, you can almost set your watch by the PR machine kicking into overdrive.
Clockwork.
Recently, George's camp pushed back against this narrative by publicly insisting that he and Amal haven't had a single argument in their entire 10 years of marriage.
See, I have to pause there. Because that specific PR defense is fascinating. It attempts to project total marital perfection, but it inadvertently reveals the totally strange reality of ultra-wealthy celebrity existence.
How so?
Well, think about your own relationships. If you haven't had a single argument in a decade, you are either entirely codependent or you simply aren't in the same room enough to disagree on what to order for dinner.
That is a very fair point. Normal, healthy partnerships involve friction.
Exactly. So the prominent theory among commentators analyzing that zero arguments claim is the assistant buffer.
The assistant buffer, that makes so much sense.
Right. At that level of fame and wealth, your daily life operates with ruthless corporate precision.
You have managers, schedulers, and personal assistants coordinating with your spouse's managers, schedulers, and personal assistants just to find, a 20-minute window for a phone call.
The staff is fighting all the battles.
The daily friction of life scheduling conflicts, logistical issues, travel plans, it's handled entirely by intermediaries.
So they don't argue because they are insulated from the mundane realities that actually cause arguments.
And the sharp irony here is that their daily lives are managed with this intense, calculated corporate structure, yet they allegedly entered into the ultimate merger without the standard corporate protection of a prenup.
It's wild. But financial and emotional vulnerabilities are one thing. The PR machinery that protects their assets is the exact same machinery currently scrambling to protect George's reputation from something infinitely darker.
Yes. The rumor mill isn't just focused on divorce right now. It has veered into existential threats to his public standing.
And we need to navigate this carefully. We really want to reiterate to you, the listener, that we are analyzing claims made in the public sphere here. We are not establishing facts.
Absolutely. We are just reporting what's circulating.
So the rumors in question stem from claims originating with Virginia Shore, who is a highly outspoken and recognized victim of Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. And according to circulating reports, Giuffre alleged that Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving 20 years in federal prison, bragged enthusiastically, like a giddy schoolgirl, about performing a sexual act on George Clooney in a bathroom at an event.
Hearing those names in the same sentence is incredibly jarring.
It really is. It represents the ultimate toxic association in modern Hollywood.
And unsurprisingly, George's reaction has reportedly been absolute nuclear fury.
Sources indicate his blood is just boiling. He fiercely denies ever crossing paths with Maxwell in his entire life, and he has labeled the claims a grotesque fabrication and outright lies.
He is reportedly devastated that this specific falsehood is being attached to his legacy.
And the intensity of his reaction is entirely strategic when you analyze the George Clooney brand.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Brian.
For decades, his public persona has been meticulously built on charm, morality, global philanthropy, and basically positioning himself as the ultimate classic Hollywood gentleman.
The good guy.
Exactly. An allegation linking him, even tangentially or falsely, to the Epstein network strikes at the very core of that brand. It is an existential threat that requires an overwhelming response.
But the mechanics of that response create an almost impossible PR tightrope. I mean, how does a crisis management team aggressively defend a flawless reputation without accidentally launching a smear campaign against a known prominent victim?
Crisis communications at this level requires surgical precision.
It has to.
If his team goes on the attack too aggressively, they risk alienating the public by appearing insensitive to Giuffre. She's a victim who has suffered enormously and played a massive role in exposing the Epstein ring.
Right, you can't attack her.
However, if they are too passive or dismissive, the silence is weaponized by the internet and interpreted as guilt.
So the strategy is essentially deny but direct the anger appropriately.
Precisely. The strategy is to unequivocally state that the convicted perpetrator, Ghislaine Maxwell, is the one lying. They have to direct all the vitriol and legal threats at Maxwell's alleged bragging, painting her as a fabricator, while carefully sidestepping any direct confrontation with Giuffre, who is, merely relaying what she claims she heard.
It requires threading a needle while standing in a hurricane.
It really is a masterclass in modern crisis management. It shows how rapidly a decades-long legacy can be threatened by the mere whisper of an association.
But while the PR team is fighting fires on the crisis front, the internet's blind item economy is simultaneously manufacturing entirely different, almost surreal realities.
Oh, completely different realities.
Which brings us to the wildest, most pervasive, and honestly deeply confusing love triangle in the entire gossip ecosystem.
The blind item economy operates on a completely different set of rules than traditional tabloids, and this particular rumor is its crown jewel.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
For almost 5 years, dating all the way back to 2020, blind items have consistently and relentlessly linked George Clooney in an on-again, off-again romantic relationship with pop superstar Harry Styles.
I genuinely cannot even process the visual of those two in the same room, let alone the mechanics of a 5-year secret relationship.
It's quite the pairing. And the narrative engineered by the internet is incredibly elaborate. The rumors don't just stop with George and Harry. They heavily involve George's incredibly close friend and business partner, Rhonda Gerber,
who you might know as Cindy Crawford's husband.
Right.
The blind item economy operates like a completely unregulated stock market for gossip, where attention is literally the only currency.
It's a perfect analogy.
A story like this is so far out of left field that it short-circuits your brain. It is like hearing your mild-mannered accountant is secretly moonlighting as an international trapeze artist with a famous rock star.
It makes no sense on the surface.
Right. How does a hyper-specific, multi-character cinematic universe like this even originate?
It originates from the exact same mechanism as the Emma Watson rumor, a single anomalous data point that the internet decides to weaponize.
Okay, what was the data point here?
In this case, the data point was a random paparazzi photograph from 2020 showing Harry Styles casually riding bicycles with Rhonda Gerber.
Wait, just a photo of two guys on bikes?
Just a photo of two guys on bikes.
That is the initial IPO of a rumor.
A simple photo. But in the blind item economy, a photo is never just a photo. It is a blank canvas. The internet took that image and began to day trade speculative narratives.
Wow.
The gossip started claiming that Harry was utilizing the yachting circuit, which is a well-known internet trope where celebrities allegedly mingle on mega yachts with wealthy, older figures to secure funding, networking, or acting gigs.
So they took a bike ride and extrapolated it into a massive Hollywood yachting conspiracy.
Yep. The narrative evolved to claim that Harry was using these powerful older men to boost his transition from music to acting, which allegedly led to a bitter behind-the-scenes feud between George and Randy over Harry's affections.
And because the internet demands that all rumors connect in a grand unified theory, this inevitably loops right back around to Amal.
Of course it does.
The natural extension of this wild boybander rumor is the claim that George's entire decade-long marriage to this brilliant human rights lawyer is actually just an elaborate, highly funded cover story to protect his brand from rumors about his sexuality.
And if we look at the history of Hollywood PR, the fake marriage to hide a star's sexuality is one of the absolute oldest tropes in the playbook.
It really is.
It dates all the way back to the studio system of the 1920s and 30s, the era of the so-called lavender marriages, where studios would force gay actors into highly publicized heterosexual marriages to maintain their box office appeal.
It is wild that for all of our technological advancement and algorithmic speed, modern internet gossip still relies entirely on 100-year-old golden age Hollywood stereotypes.
Well, the public loves a classic archetype. The secretly gay leading man is a template the internet is always ready to apply, especially when a male star has managed to stay a prominent bachelor for a very long time.
Which George famously did before meeting Amal.
Exactly. The algorithm just plugs new faces into century-old narratives.
So when you look at the cumulative weight of all this speculation, the Emma Watson frenzy, the looming $600 million divorce stakes, the terrifying PR nightmare of Epstein allegations, and these decades-old Hollywood tropes applied to pop stars, it paints a very clear picture of why this couple might be acting so strangely.
It really does. The sheer volume of incoming fire explains why they go to such extreme, almost paranoid lengths to control their physical environment.
Because the intense secrecy is perhaps the most telling aspect of their entire dynamic right now.
It is a direct physical response to the digital rumor mill. According to recent reports, Amal has instituted a notoriously strict phone-free rule for any dinner parties or gatherings they host at their estates.
And this isn't just like a polite little note at the bottom of an invitation asking you to be present.
No.
She literally collects her guests' cell phones in a physical basket at the door before they are allowed to cross the threshold into the home.
Which is intense. The PR spin offered for this policy is that it establishes a healthy boundary for privacy. It is framed to the public as a forced digital detox for their high-profile friends.
Ensuring that everyone can relax, right?
Yeah, without the fear that someone is going to sneak a photo of George eating dessert or secretly record a sensitive conversation.
But the commentators and critics analyzing this move are absolutely not buying the digital detox angle.
Not at all.
They view it as a mechanism of intense, uncomfortable control. It shifts the dynamic from a relaxed dinner party to a high-security clearance event.
Some have compared this forced surrender of your only means of outside communication to the tactics used at cult retreats.
Or, even more darkly, they draw parallels to the highly controlled, notorious celebrity parties of figures like Diddy, where phones were reportedly confiscated at the door to ensure absolute, terrified silence about whatever happened inside.
It creates a deeply unsettling power dynamic for anyone walking through those doors.
Put yourself in that position for a moment. Imagine you get invited to the Clooney's stunning historic villa in Lake Como.
Sounds great so far.
Right. You arrive at the door, expecting an evening of warmth and hospitality, and Amal demands you hand over your phone. Does that make you feel like you are entering a relaxing, intimate safe space with trusted friends?
Probably not.
Or does it make you feel a little bit like your autonomy has just been revoked and you're entering a hostage situation?
It highlights the ultimate paradox of privacy in the modern era. When a high-profile couple enforces this level of extreme physical control over their private space, the strategy actually backfires.
Oh, completely.
It operates on the principles of the Streisand effect, paradoxically fueling the exact rumors they are trying so desperately to suppress.
Because the immediate psychological reaction is, what on earth are you doing in there that requires this level of security?
Exactly. The human brain simply cannot tolerate a mystery. If you build a massive, impenetrable wall, the public will inevitably assume there is a dragon hiding behind it.
Right. If you confiscate phones and mandate absolute silence, people assume that whatever is happening in that dining room is so scandalous, so monumental, or so illegal that it cannot risk the light of day.
By trying to completely eliminate gossip through sheer force and control, they create a massive vacuum. And as we established at the beginning, the internet rushes to fill that vacuum with claims of yachting circuits, separate continents, and illicit affairs.
So, tracing the mechanics of this incredible journey, we started by looking at how a totally random, solitary paparazzi shot of Emma Watson arriving at a house was processed by the internet's speculative fiction engine.
Which opened the door to analyzing a looming $600 million prenup-free corporate merger of a marriage driven by a fundamental clash over the limelight.
From there, we examined the surgical crisis management required to navigate the incredibly dark waters of Epstein-adjacent allegations, demonstrating how quickly a pristine legacy can be threatened.
Then we took a hard left turn into the unregulated gossip stock market.
Yeah, exploring how a simple photo of a bike ride birthed a 5-year, multi-character love triangle relying on century-old Hollywood tropes.
And we ended up staring at a basket of confiscated cell phones at a Lake Como dinner party, realizing that the attempt to control the narrative is what's actually fueling it.
It serves as a comprehensive masterclass in how modern celebrity operates. The sheer volume of complex narrative projected onto two people simply because they demand extreme privacy is astounding.
It proves that in the modern ecosystem of fame, silence is never interpreted as just silence. It is treated as a blank canvas for the public's wildest imaginations.
It really is. And it leaves you with a pretty profound philosophical question to chew on.
What's that?
In today's hyper-connected, algorithmic, and constantly observing world, is it actually possible for a global icon to maintain total true privacy? Or does building a flawless, impenetrable fortress of secrecy simply guarantee that the public will invent the absolute wildest monsters to hide behind those walls?
That tension between visibility and control is the defining challenge of modern fame.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the narratives, look for the mechanics behind the rumors, and we will catch you next time.